So the psychology of Claressa Shields has been under quiet scrutiny for months now. Not because people are hating on her and not necessarily disliking her, but because people are confused by her. And confusion, when it's consistent, usually means there's something deeper happening beneath the surface. This isn't a diagnosis. This isn't an attack. This is a behavioral analysis because patterns don't lie even when people do. And when someone repeatedly confuses criticism with victimhood, attention with affection, and visibility with validation, there is usually an internal imbalance driving this behavior. I'll say this plainly. Clarissa's issue isn't confidence, it's emotional containment. Highly successful people who never learn how to self-soothe often end up outsourcing their self-worth to the public. And when the public doesn't respond the way that they expect, they spiral. And this is not hate, that's psychology.
Speaking on me, and they be having my thing in their mouth. This is what I see. They be having this is my thing. This is my dick. And this they mouth. All on it. All on my, bro. Get off my dick, bro. For real. For real. For real. Get up off of it.
Welcome back to the Vibers, the Blue Heart Gang. And if you're just getting here for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click those notification bells so that you can know every time I go live or when I do another upload. Because now we are in a relationship and yeah, we got to get into this bullshit. For months, people have been calling Claressa Shields confident. But what if what we're actually watching is enmeshment, identity diffusion, and externalized validation playing out in real time? Because what I'm starting to see is that this is a grown woman who cannot separate her friendships, her relationships, and her self-image. Allegedly. Let's get into the psychology though. So many of you remember that before Claressa Shields' current relationship with Papoose, she was previously engaged to a man named Tony Rich. And now, baby, there was definitely some overlap in timelines that people questioned back then. And recently, I've received additional insight into the dynamics of that relationship. Now, Tony Rich is a personal trainer from Flint, Michigan. And by most accounts, he fit the familiar archetype. Socially active, image conscious, and very comfortable around women. They were together roughly 4 or 5 years during a time when Clarissa's career was ascending rapidly. Major deals, major money, major visibility. And like all of the relationships that we've learned about with Clarissa, Tony was involved with someone else when they met, and Clarissa stepped in as a side chick, only to become the main chick, at least on Front Street. What stood out to many people then and now was the imbalance. Clarissa was clearly the financial engine in the relationship. It's been widely discussed that she invested heavily in Tony, supporting his ventures, helping build his brand, and even purchasing large assets for him. Whether the support was reciprocated in equal measure is something only those directly involved can fully answer. But we all know that she does not mind earning her man because we see what's going on with her and Papoose. The outside looking in, however, the pattern appeared very familiar. A highly driven woman in a provider role, emotionally and financially investing in a man whose professional footing was far less secure. In psychology, this is often referred to as overfunctioning in romantic partnerships. And this is where one partner compensates not only emotionally, but financially and structurally for the other. Think about what's happening between her and Papoose. We're watching her clearly be the provider and clearly trying to compete and convince him and everyone else that she is sexier and better than Remy Ma. And when someone already struggles with self-esteem or external validation, that dynamic can become intoxicating. Building a man can feel like proof of their worth. Earning love can feel safer than expecting it. And we already know that she came from a troubled background where neither her mother or father were in position to or even chose to show her the support and love that she absolutely deserved as a young woman. Now, I want to be thoughtful here because I don't subscribe to the internet's cruelty per se. Clarissa is not an unattractive woman, but public perception does matter, especially when someone is deeply affected by how they are received. But baby, what makes it complicated is that it's not her appearance that's the problem. What makes her appearance appear to be the problem is her behavioral presentation. It's that energy, it's them wardrobe choices, it's her public antics. All that undermines anything that could be appealing in her.
Gotta have the Nike dunks
with a little paisley print going on, and lots of pristine jewelers and Sam Diamond jewelers. Oh, my Van Cleefs.
To be that mother. Ooh, I'm gonna throw one to the back so y'all can. Oh goodness. And I got my Van Cleefs Christmas gift from my man.
So if we're talking psychology, this would be compensatory behavior. So this is someone who appears to be driven by a need to be seen as the baddest in the room, even if that performance cost her dignity or stability. Is that not Claressa Shields? Dead ass. Now, this is where the dynamic becomes more complex, and I want to be very clear. What follows is alleged, shared by sources connected to the inner circle, and discussed here strictly through a psychological lens. Clarissa's stylist and close companion, Nigeria. Okay, baby. People have long talked about how Nigeria is always around. So this is a constant, right? That even members of Clarissa's own family have publicly expressed discomfort with her involvement. Y'all remember when Claressa Shields' sister Brianna with her drunk ass and no teeth in the front came out talking about how she was going to kick Nigeria's ass? According to one source, Nigeria was romantically linked to Tony Rich during that period. That claim is unverified. However, a separate source, someone directly connected to both parties, alleges something different. Baby, pull up a chair. Let's talk. So, baby, this party alleges that Clarissa and Nigeria themselves were romantically involved. A little carpet munching and booty bunching going on between them two, honey. But it gets better. So, allegedly, Clarissa brought Nigeria into their relationship as the third party. Honey, there were times when this source said that she went over to Clarissa's house and Nigeria and Tony were in the bed, covered up under the cover, and Clarissa comes out barely clothed to open the door. Child, listen, I don't know about you, but that was tea, and it made a lot of sense. Let's get into it. So if this is all true, this would literally indicate relationship triangulation. So there's this pattern where intimacy kind of is solidified through a third party rather than direct emotional security. And if you really think about it, the intimacy, and I don't mean like the literal physical intimacy, but if you think about a lot of the things that she uses to validate her and Pap's relationship, she's kind of triangulating through Remy Ma. So this literally is her pattern. There is always another woman somewhere as the focal point or kind of semi-focus of their situation. It would also explain Nigeria's continued proximity, not just as a stylist, but as someone deeply embedded in Clarissa's private world. And when you combine triangulation, enmeshment, and identity diffusion, what you often left with is a relationship ecosystem built on secrets, baby, power, imbalance, and fear of abandonment. So whether Nigeria is a keeper of secrets, a former lover, or simply a symbol of unresolved attachment, baby, her role matters because healthy relationships don't require constant surveillance, overlapped, and blurred boundaries. And as a grown woman, we all know that too much of another woman around your man all day, every day is just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's perfectly innocent, you don't have no business with some other broad all up in the video, all up in the kitchen, all up in the gym. Everywhere they go, here is Nigeria. So, yeah, Clarissa doesn't struggle with strength. She struggles with security, and that has a lot to do with her childhood as well as other stuff. And until that's addressed, every relationship she touches will carry the same tension, no matter who the man is. Now, here's where the psychology really starts talking loud, because alongside these messy relationship dynamics, we're also seeing a very clear pattern of mirroring behavior. And I've talked about this before.
With Pap, everything I do, they're like, oh, she did this because of this person. She did that because of that person. If I wear my hair a certain way, if I wear some clothes, y'all say I'm copying somebody else. But then y'all say in the same breath, but she can't dress. Most of the stuff I go to the store and pick out myself and put it on. So I'm not copying nobody. But as far as in me rapping, go on my YouTube. I'm gonna put the link on here. I've been rapping for almost 3 years. I didn't just start this. I've been rapping. Why? Because I do what the hell I want to do. Like I've been doing what I want to do forever. got rap videos. I've been in the studio. I got songs. I had a listening party the week of my fight. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. Nobody's making me do anything. And I'm not trying to be like nobody because, baby, quote is original. The quote is original. I'm the first woman to ever use the word quote. I'm original in everything I do.
So you made up a word and it sounds dumb and that makes you original. Or does it just make you dumb? I don't know. Anyway, let's get back into the conversation. And baby, for those of you who don't speak psychology fluently, mirroring happens when someone doesn't feel secure in their own identity. So they start borrowing from somebody they believe is already accepted, already chosen, already loved, already valued, therefore already validated. And in Clarissa's case, that borrowing seems to be coming straight from Remy Ma. Not just her closet, though. The wife of her man. And no, this isn't a coincidence. From the hairstyles to the styling to the way sex appeal is being performed publicly, this is not influence. This is aspiration, honey. She literally aspires to be Remy Ma. But sis, here's the issue. And the psychology is very clear on this. Mimicry without embodiment never hits the same. When Remy does it, baby, it's natural. It's effortless. It fits her. When Clarissa does it, it feels forced, like a costume that doesn't quite sit right. And forced sex appeal is not confidence, it's compensation. And quite frankly, the shit look goofy and tired. Another tell, and this one always gives it away, is the constant self-complimenting. I'm sexy, I'm T, I'm that girl, I'm unbothered. When someone has to keep announcing it, psychology doesn't call that self-assured. It's called externalized validation, because people who are really confident don't have to sell it. They don't have to run ads for it, baby. They just exist. So when you see someone loudly branding themselves as sexy or T while quietly borrowing another woman's aesthetic, what you're witnessing is identity diffusion. And this is a shaky sense of self that needs outside confirmation just to stay upright. And honey, this is where Nigeria comes back into the picture. Because if your stylist is also your best friend and that same stylist keeps sending you out dressed like a Temu remix of somebody else, we have to ask a very grown question. Is this support or sabotage dressed up as loyalty? Because a real friend doesn't style you into comparison. A real friend styles you into yourself. So what is Nigeria exactly doing here? Because, you know, she's the one that's helping her with a lot of this shit. Here's the thing. Sexy is not something you have to declare. Sexy is something people decide about you without you asking them. And when somebody is working this hard to convince the public, 9 times out of 10, baby, they still trying to convince themselves. So here's the thing. Clarissa doesn't lack talent. That's obvious. She's doing her thing. But what she lacks is grounding. And of course, a little social etiquette could help her too. But until she figures out who she is without comparison, every relationship and every outfit is going to feel like an audition. Let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section. And if you like my commentary, please click like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't like it, what you mean you don't like it? You can still comment, you can still subscribe, because you're bound to return and find something that will entertain you or be of intellectual benefit.
That girl gay in
Why you froze right there though?
Okay, that's crazy. Ain't no trying, you doing it.
My friend has a present for you.
Give me 1 second. Hold on.